we left church but not God. Is that statement or sentiment in harmony with true Christianity? That is the question which we are going to be answering today on Wednesday on the weekly segments of the Bible question. So, I believe that statement that we left church but not God is not in harmony with true Christianity. Why? The church is God's design, not man's idea. And anyone who separates himself from the church is simply not part of God's idea. In Hebrews chapter 10 verse 25, it commands believers not forsaking the assembling of yourselves together. Why? What is a church? Church is not the building. Church is the assembling of God's people. And God established the church for mutual encouragement, growth, and protection. If you separate yourself from the church, you are not following the ideal design of God's people. The second point is that Christ is the head of the church. There is no way you can say that you left church and you love God, because Christ is the head of the church. In Ephesians chapter 1 verse 22 to 23, it calls the church Christ's body. Saying that you left the church but not God is like you love someone but you reject their body. That, in fact, is an oxymoron in itself. You cannot say that you love Christ but you left his body, because if you love Christ, you must love his body, and his body is church, and Christ is the head of the church. You cannot eat your cake and still have it, my friend. If you are a true Christian, you have to choose which side you love to take. The third point is that fellowship protects faith. Acts chapter 2 verse 42, it shows believers continually gathering for teaching, fellowship, breaking bread, and prayer. Isolation often leads to spiritual decline. In Acts, the Acts of the Apostles, all those disciples were meeting for what we've read above there. And if you go and isolate yourself, you're not going to church on the Sabbath day. Now that leads to your spiritual decline of spiritual truths, because you're not fellowshipping, you're not being taught, you're not breaking the bread, you're not taking the Lord's Supper, you're not doing all of that. And now that leads to your spiritual decline. Accountability is found in the church. There is no way you will say that you love God and walk out of the church. Proverbs chapter 27 verse 17. Iron sharpens iron. Without community, there is no sharpening or correction. There is no sharpening or correction. There is only one place where you can be accountable, to fellow men and to God. There is no way you'll say that you are out there in the outside world, say that you love God, but you are not giving that accountability before men and before God. Yes, that accountability is very essential, and that's why you cannot separate church and God and say that you love God but you hate church. No, they have to work together. The good thing, all the examples which are given in the Bible were given for us and to an example. According to Acts chapter 20 verse 7, the apostles modeled church life. All early Christians worshipped together regularly. Leaving the gathering was not their practice. If you say you're a Christian, then you have to follow in what the people in the Bible did. And we know that these people were in the Bible, the early disciples, the Acts of Apostles, they usually met regularly. There is no way those people were meeting regularly those people are meeting regularly and they loved God. There is no way you'll come with your new doctrine and start saying you love God but you walked out of church. It doesn't work that way. That's hypocrisy, my friend. For those people who say that they left church but not God, I want you to know that God uses the church to equip you. Ephesians chapter 4 verse 11 to 12, it says pastors and teachers are given to equip the saints. Leaving the church makes you not be equipped by what God wants you. If you walk away from what the pastors and the teachers are teaching in the church, you are not simply being sharpened with iron by iron. Because the moment you go to church and your sin is called out, you are going to change. God says that every believer in church has their own gift which should be used to serve others. If you are not in the church, it means your gift is not being used to serve others. And that's hypocrisy, my friend. So if you say you love God, you need to get back to church and serve God and serve others and serve God with a gift, because everyone has been given a gift. Some have been given 1 gift, others have been given 2, and others have been given 5. The 8th point, for those people, they should also know that the church is the bride of Christ. Revelation chapter 19 verse 7, he calls the church the bride. You cannot claim to love Christ while abandoning his bride. Christ is coming to marry the church. Christ, that is what he's coming for. When he's coming the second time, he is coming for his church. There is no way you are going to separate yourself from that bride and expect Christ to come for you. No, you cannot cherry pick what you want. You have to take it all together. The 9th point is that discipleship requires community. Jesus discipled the 12 disciples in a group. Christianity is designed for corporate growth, for communion. That's how Christianity is fashioned in. There is no way you are going to be a Christian and walk away from community. It doesn't exist. Or there is no way you are going to be a Christian and exclude yourself from the social life, from the community at the church. There is no way. If you are a true Christian, you cannot love God and hate church. They have to go hand in hand. Jesus, if he knew that church was not essential or it was not necessary, he could not have discipled the 12 disciples. He could have simply taken Simon Peter, coached him differently, taken Judas, coached him differently. But what did Christ do? He coached the best thing from 3 people to 2.5 billion Christians worldwide, just from that single thing. So there is no way you are going to separate yourself from the church and say that you are a Christian. It doesn't work that way. And as I wind up, end time faithfulness is linked to gathering. Revelation chapter 14 verse 12, it says, it connects saints with keeping God's commandments and enduring together. Now we are in the end times, my friend. If you are not fully aware that we are in the end times, we are at the very end times. Christ could be coming any time. I'm not going to be naming any specific day, but Christ is coming soon, my friend. And as he comes, we have to be united together as Christians, having the same unity, the same purpose, and the same mission. If that is not part of you, you cannot say you love God. That is not true or genuine Christianity. Please share this message with the first person God impresses your heart to share it with. I'll see you next Wednesday for another biblical based question.